Welcome to Pimpy's Investment Chat, where we keep investment talk simple. And here's your host, Pimpy.
What is going on out there, peeps? So a lot of people are asking questions about this membership into the World Trade Organization for Iraq. There's some content creators out there giving the impression that Iraq will be into the World Trade Organization before the end of this year. That would be one hell of an accomplishment if they can achieve this. I'm going to go through and show you each stage that a country has to go through in order to become a member of the World Trade Organization. And I will also share with you the length of time it normally takes. And then you can get an idea of how long you think it's going to take before Iraq becomes a member of the World Trade Organization. Now keep in mind, they started the process back in 2004. So they had to reaffirm their interest in joining the World Trade Organization. Because you got people out there going, oh, Saudi Arabia welcomed Iraq into the World Trade Organization. While they're not quite in there yet, we know they're going through the accession process. Worker Party chair visits Baghdad to hold high-level consultations on Iraq's accession. The chair of the Iraqi Accession Working Party, ambassador of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, visits Baghdad on January the 15th and 16th of this year to galvanize political support for the resumption of Iraq's WTO accession process. The chair engaged in high-level meetings with the government, emphasizing the importance of the accession process to advance Baghdad's economic reforms. The government of Iraq affirms its full commitment to an early resumption of the process by enacting the necessary economic and legal reforms. Like I said, in the past they have been looked at and then they just stopped the process for one reason or another. So let's go over this, all right? Before we get started, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel, and I certainly do appreciate it. If you're thinking about buying gold and silver, head on over to our friends at Miles Franklin. The link will be down below in the description. When you make your purchase, make sure you use promo code Pimpy, P-I-M-P-Y, and they'll take care of you. If you have any additional questions, you can reach us over here at this phone number or over here at this particular email. For all orders over $10,000, reach out by email and we'll make sure that you get a great deal. So come on over to Miles Franklin and add to your precious metal inventory. Okay, so this is an applicant's roadmap for the accession into the World Trade Organization. These are stages that each country has to go through in order to become a member. So here is the membership process. Becoming a WTO member involves several stages, each of which can take different amount of times. Stage 1, expression of interest. The first stage of the process in becoming a World Trade Organization member is for a country to express its interest in joining the organization. This typically involves submitting a formal request to the WTO. This stage generally takes a few months to complete, as the country must prepare and submit the necessary documentation. Like I said, we know back in 2004, Iraq started the process. We know this time around they had to file paperwork to resume the process. So I don't think whatever stage they were at, the WTO is going to be satisfied with the documentation that they have, because a lot has changed in Iraq since then. So they might have to start the process all over. Stage 2, assessment and review by the WTO. Once a country has expressed its interest in joining the WTO, the organization begins its assessment and review process. This involves examining the applicant country's trade policies, legal framework, and other relevant factors. The WTO may request additional information from the applicant country during the stage, which can add to the overall time required for the process. The assessment and review process can take anywhere from a few months to a couple of years, depending on the complexity of the applicant country's trade policies and the amount of information required. So really, that's what we're talking about. What's going to take the most amount of time is how long Iraq responds to the requested information from the WTO and how long it's going to take the WTO to respond to the information they received. So the back and forth is really what takes a while. So let's just say everything is going fine. It's great. It's all fine and dandy. And they're doing it as quickly as possible. So that stage takes a few months. Working party establishment and negotiations, which is pretty much where they are now. This is a stage in which Saudi Arabia is going to be helping Iraq. After the WTO's assessment and review, the organization establishes a working party to negotiate the terms of membership with the applicant country. This stage involves a series of meetings and negotiations between the working party and the applicant country, during which the applicant country must commit to implementing the necessary changes to its trade policy and legal framework to comply with WTO rules. The length of this stage can vary greatly depending on the complexity of the negotiations and the willingness of the applicant country to compromise. In some cases, this stage can take a few months, while in others, it could take several years. And I think this is where Iraq was getting stuck last time, was compromising on their policy that they wanted to work out with the WTO and eventually just stopped the process. So not only do they have to go back and forth with requested documentation, but if the policies don't line up according to the World Trade Organization, then they're going to require Iraq to change these policies. So some of them I'm sure could be implemented right away. Others might take approval from the government. And we know anytime you're requesting anything from the government to vote on something, that could be a pain in the butt to deal with. So again, this really just depends on how quickly Iraq is going to be able to respond to the request of the WTO, as well as implementing any changes that is required by the World Trade Organization. Stage 4, approval by the WTO membership. Once a working party has reached an agreement with applicant country, the proposed terms must be approved by the WTO membership as a whole. This involves a consensus-based decision-making process among all WTO member countries. The time required for this stage can vary. It all depends on the level of support and cooperation amongst the member countries. In some cases, this stage may be completed relatively quickly, while in others, it can take several months or even years. So my question is, I should have looked this up, but I'm wondering how many members have to approve. Like, is there a percentage of them, or does it have to be unanimous? Because this is where politics plays in. Okay, so if you got one country being pissy against another, this could become a problem. So keep in mind about all the issues between Kurdistan as well as Baghdad. They still need to iron out all their issues. Turkey and Iraq has to iron out all their issues. Okay, so it's not just pull one out your butt and sprinkle unicorn pixie dust on everything. This is going to take some time. Stage 5, accession. The final stage of WTO membership process is the accession or formal joining of the applicant country. This involves the signing of the accession protocol by the applicant country and the WTO, as well as implementation of the agreed upon terms and conditions. The accession process can take anywhere from a few months to a couple of years, depending on the complexity of the required changes and the efficiency of the applicant country's implementation process. Now, Iraq has already committed to having a group, a select committee that was already chosen to work with the working party from the WTO. And I'm sure that's going to help speed up the process really quickly. As you can see, even if everything went as smooth as possible, each stage takes months. But in the past, a lot of policies that was implemented by Iraq was an issue for the WTO. If they cooperate more than they did last time, then there should be no issue. Hopefully, they'll be able to get in pretty quickly. Are they going to be in by 2024? I don't think so. We have heard that they're going to expedite this accession into the World Trade Organization. They want to do this quickly. But are they willing to cut corners in order to get Iraq in as a member? I don't know, because I'm not sure what corners they'll be able to cut in order to get Iraq in as a member any quicker than the normal process. So this should give you some kind of idea of how long it's going to take Iraq to become a member of the WTO. And the reason why they didn't get very far last time is because of the corrupt government, man. They just will not cooperate with the World Trade Organization. So let's keep an eye on this. Let's cross our fingers that they get in quickly. But it's not going to be done by 2024. Just not going to happen. Anyways, that's it for now, you guys. I look forward to hearing from you. I'll catch you later. I'm out.